Definitely a first for the Charlotte Regional Business Alliance. But I want to just do a few technical things here on our front end. Before we begin, please make sure that your lines are muted. And for those of you who might be having some technical difficulties, I would encourage you to reach out to Katie Tanner on our team. She can probably help you in the back end there. So the other thing I'll just mention is that we're going to have a brief program, we'll have a demo, and then we're going to welcome questions from all of you once our remarks have concluded. So in the meantime, if you can just think about your questions and go ahead and catalog them in the chat room, we would appreciate that, and we'll get to those just as soon as we can. I believe we're also being encouraged to perhaps turn off some of our video just so we don't slow down some of the connectivity. So thanks in advance for doing that. And we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to let you know how we got here. So in the early days of our community facing the coronavirus, the Alliance came across manufacturers and institutions who were shifting to create personal protective equipment, also known as PPE. Textile and equipment manufacturers throughout the Charlotte region quickly started innovating to meet the needs of frontline workers in our hospitals and in our community. We started to connect those who could supply PPE to healthcare partners with demand. And through partnerships with the Alliance's healthcare cabinet, which includes both Novant and Atrium, as well as a host of others, our network of regional economic development partners across our 15 counties and 2 states, as well as our local chambers throughout the region, we were able to connect a lot of dots. We started with a simple spreadsheet to track all of these dots, and it soon proved to be insufficient, and we knew we needed a more turnkey solution. At the same time, the Alliance learned that our peers at Greater Winston-Salem Inc. were also working to connect firms who were manufacturing PPE to those who were seeking supplies. Together, we saw an opportunity to make a real difference across North and South Carolina. We turned to Charlotte-based Skookum, a technology firm known for taking complex things and creating simple solutions. The end product is a beautiful, seamless portal called the Carolinas Alliance Match Site. This platform will connect needs for PPE with manufacturers across the Charlotte region, which will help to keep our businesses going and help keep our families and our friends safe. As our region enters phase 2 of reopening the economy, the Carolinas Alliance Match Site is needed now more than ever. Now, I'd like to introduce Joe Ryan, president of Skookum, to walk us through the platform. Joe? Oh, you're on mute, Joe. There we go.
Of course, I did that. Thank you, Janet. And we at Skookum were excited to answer the call and participate and help in filling the need of our community. And before I jump in, I wanted to acknowledge that this product came to life with the volunteer work of our employees who wanted to step up and do this on their nights and on their weekends, in addition to their full-time jobs, to support their neighbors in North and South Carolina. And I briefly wanted to run through the list of people that participated. Glenn Goodrich, Scott Plybon, Sterling Scott, Rob Florence, Eric Allen, Drew Terry, Stephen Rutherford, Cody Yantis, Lindsay Pringle, Jason Rome, Brad Schmidt, and Chris Manley. Thank you to everybody for your contributions in bringing this to life. So I'm going to share my screen and run through a brief demo of the Carolinas Alliance Match product. So now that I'm sharing my screen, I should let you know that I've already gone in and created a user account for the site. From there, you can see that if you go to carolinasalliance.org, you land on the homepage of the site, which is where it's designed to allow manufacturers, healthcare and businesses, and governments to register an account to either say that you have supply that is available to the community or that you have need for supply. So first step I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and register Skookum as an essential business that is in need of supplies. So when I click on the registration, I'm given the option to create my company, and I'll run through that quickly. So I put in my website. For a facility type, we are other, and our street address for contact information, and you select the region that you're in. The region that you're in allows for users on the other side of the site to filter down to their region to find folks that are local, businesses that are local to them to try to make a connection. And we're in the Charlotte region. And I'll add my contact information. And my email address. So now that I've created my site, I am taken to a section where I'm able to identify the needs that I have as a business. And when I come through and look at, we've created a list of needs that are common, that we know that we have businesses and manufacturers who can produce them, and they're the common needs that our businesses and healthcare providers in the community are in need of. So for Skookum in reopening, we would need some gloves, and I have 125 people, so I'll say I need 125 pairs, and we need them by July 1st. And I can go through and say that whether I need them to be medical grade or not. I am not a hospital or a medical provider. I won't click that need. And then come through, and you can look through a number of other list items. And maybe I need some more hand soap as well. And I need them next week in May. So once I've established the needs that my business has, I will go ahead and finish. And it creates my profile. So I am Skookum in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I've established that I need gloves and hand soap that's important to reopen my business. I have my primary contact information so that people can reach out, as well as a drop-off location if necessary. So once I've established my business, I can come back to the homepage of Carolina's Match. And this is really where the value of the site comes in. As manufacturers on one side of the equation come through and fill out what the supplies that they are able to provide to the community, and our healthcare providers, our businesses, essential businesses and governments, organizations have established that they have need. Now it's all about connecting the supply with the need. Since I have established that I am a business, I want to filter by manufacturers who have said that they have product available. And here I can come in and see that face shields, surgical masks, hand sanitizers are all available by Proforma Dirt. I can also go through and see that gloves are available here by Label Health, who are real organizations in our community that have already come in and registered for the site. I can come in and view detail and see that there are gloves available with a detailed note about what types of gloves they are and when they can be available. And I'm interested in contacting Label Health to supply need for Skookum. And I have the contact information of Andy up above, where I can click this link and directly send an email to Andy, or I can call him direct. Once the contact is made, we allow for the connection of supply with need to happen directly between the provider and the companies, either through email or for phone for coordination. The purpose of the site is to make the connections. And then once those connections are made, I'm able to go in to my account and update that I've received the quantity of hand soap that I need, or that I've received the gloves that I need. And I can also add products at that point to say that my needs have changed and I still have more needs available. The power of the site is in the searching and the filtering, and I can come through and filter by my region or the products that I am interested in. If you are a manufacturer, you can come in and search for healthcare providers that have established that they need, or businesses that they need products, and come in and view the details of what they're looking for. If I am logged in as a manufacturer, I'll have another option to click directly into cleaning spray as an example, and say that I would like to provide 30 of the units that you need for cleaning spray, and an email and connection will be sent and made offline. So the site is a clean, intuitive, simple portal that's focused on connecting the supply with the need in our community. We were excited to get this version off the ground, and already, our hope here, and only hope, is that this portal fills a need and provides value in our community. And Janet, I'll turn it back over to you now.
Thank you, Joe. I will have to tell everybody this is way better than the spreadsheet we were using, and I really appreciate Skookum's willingness to partner with us on this. I know your team spent countless hours helping to get us to this finish line, and we're really excited for everybody to get in there and start using it. So now I'd like to introduce our partner on this, Greater Winston-Salem Inc., and Mark Owens, who's the CEO of that organization. Mark, welcome.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you for having me today. It's great to have a great partnership. And Joe, thank you first and foremost for all of your team's willingness to jump in and volunteer on this. We greatly appreciate it, and our business community appreciates it as well. As Janet mentioned, when all this started, we were working off an Excel spreadsheet as well. And we hosted phone calls with our manufacturers in our community once one of our lead Hanes brands started switching to making PPE, and we said, how else can we connect our companies that are needing supplies and needing product? And having Navan Health in both of our communities, as well as Wake Forest Baptist Health, there's such a need for our healthcare providers.
Mark, hang on for just a second because we're getting some feedback. I just want to remind everybody to mute yourselves, and if you can, if you're not speaking, please take your video off so that we get some seamless connectivity. I don't want anyone to miss what Mark has to say. Okay, Mark.
Thank you very much. Normally it's my 2-year-old making the noise, so thank you for pausing there for a second. But we've just been, great partners in the healthcare fields with Novant Health and Wake Forest Baptist Health and Nutramax has been such a big part of driving this forward. And what I wanted to just touch on today is that it's partnerships and relationships with our partners around the state and region that made this happen. The fact that we have great relationships with the Charlotte Regional Business Alliance and Joe and Blair and Janet there and the team, our team, Calvin and Walter and others were able to connect right away and have open communication. And my favorite part of this was nobody was looking for, the headline. We all were saying, how can we help our business community? And how can we ultimately help the citizens that live in our community be safe? And this great platform does that. And it allows our businesses to connect, continue to operate, provide life-saving equipment that's so important right now. And it helps them stay in business, which is what we're about. It helps them pivot, keep jobs going, and help these companies continue to have some revenue coming in at the same time. The other thing that I'm really excited about is that this is being used for PPE now, but what could it be used for in the future? As we look ahead and how we can connect our manufacturing community together, this site allows us to continue that Carolinas match for years to come in new ways that we've never thought about before. So Greater Winston-Salem Inc., our area, the Carolina core area, we're so proud to partner. I think this shows the strengths of the Carolinas and a great partnership with the Charlotte Regional Business Alliance. So Janet, thank you for including us. It's a great partnership, and we're excited to see where this goes going forward.
Thank you, Mark. And we are too. I think this is the beginning of something really beautiful. So we likewise appreciate your leadership in getting us to this point. And now we're going to hear from the manufacturing perspective. And here today with us is Kristen Blanchard. Kristen is the Vice President of Corporate Affairs for Nutramax Labs. Kristen, can you share with us some comments?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me, and hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. So I do work for a company called Nutramax Laboratories. We're located in Lancaster, South Carolina. We have 3 facilities, and we're actually getting ready to expand as a manufacturer. Plus, we have our corporate facilities there. We've been in business for about 30 years, and we research, develop, market, sell, and distribute nutritional supplement products for people and their pets. So for us, being a manufacturer of nutritional supplements, masks and some things, because we deal with powders, the N95 is really important. Plus, we actually deal with a lot of veterinarians and healthcare providers as well. So we did a lot of back and forth, which was a struggle. When everything first hit, everybody was just scrambling. And, so when I saw what Charlotte Regional Partnership was doing, there's some things and initiatives happening in South Carolina as well. And it just was something that was like, yes, this is what we need. Collaboration is so critical. And when you have around the Charlotte area, the 14 counties, including North Carolina and South Carolina, it's just a great resource to have. Sorry, somebody just called in. So I'm really happy about what they're doing. I think they put together a phenomenal platform. I was just going in it and kind of going back and forth in it. And I think it's going to really serve a purpose. And again, the funny thing is I will share it with some of the veterinarians' offices. So when they, you know, because they had the same problem. And in fact, they had to give their masks and PPE to healthcare and hospitals, but then that left a shortage for them as well. So it's just, you know, it was this kind of like domino effect that happened. The supply chain is so critical. And when one cog breaks down in the supply chain, everything breaks down. So having this resource is great. You know, so I can't say enough about what you've done. I think the platform's a great platform, and I look forward to sharing with others so they can realize it's a resource locally.
Terrific, Kristen. Thank you so much for sharing that perspective. Now we're going to go over to the business side and get some local perspective from Christopher Moxley, who is the co-founder of 704 Shop. Hey, Chris.
Hey, how's it going, Janet?
Good.
So, first of all, thanks for inviting us to speak. Like Kristen, I can't say enough about the site. We've used it from both standpoints. We've used it from the business side to try to figure out, you know, actually we reached out to Proforma just a few days ago when you guys did the soft launch. I was like, wow, this looks great. Like, this is going to be a great resource for us because obviously with our store being closed, we've been closed since March 23rd. We're in discussions right now around a reopen strategy and all the different things that we need to put in place to be able to do that safely. And so that's, I think, the value proposition of this particular site is without it, you're really, you're limited to who you know and what your network looks like in terms of being able to get these critical supplies. On the flip side, so that's from a business perspective. On the flip side, we were able to pivot and actually start doing fashion masks from a retail standpoint. So those have been doing really, really well for us. But at the same time, we also have the capacity and the desire to be able to do it more so from a B2B standpoint as well. And so we've luckily been able to do some large bulk orders, but we understand that there might be other key players in the marketplace in the Charlotte region or otherwise that might want to connect with us to be able to do, you know, to purchase masks. So just the other day, I created a manufacturer profile so that people can find us and know that we actually can do masks with filters and the whole nine. So really, really critical resource that we value, you know, from both a business side and from a manufacturer side. So we're excited about it.
That's so great, Chris. Thanks you so much for sharing that. And I think Mark said it best. This is really about keeping our community and our businesses going. We are delighted to have the opportunity through Skookum's expertise to really help encourage everyone to get out there and stay safe and keep our businesses up there and running. So that's the end of our formal program. Before we go into media Q&A, I just want to give a shout out as well to my Alliance colleagues who made this happen. Blair Stanford, Laura Ford, and Joe Bost, and of course Natalie Dick and Katie Tanner for putting on today's press conference. So thanks everybody for that. We are going to definitely follow up with some information on our daily digest. It's actually our weekly digest now, as well as social media. So be sure to pay attention to those links. And of course, go check it out. The site is carolinasalliance.org. And again, we'll be sending that as a follow-up following this. If you have questions, please put them in the chat box. And if we don't, we'll probably cut this early, but I'll stay tuned and help us moderate as we field some questions. And not seeing any. Okay, I've got one here from Danielle. So given that many businesses are now allowed to open in phase 2, how will you prioritize business needs? Will restaurants, salons, and etc. be in line to receive these supplies? Joe, I'll probably let you handle the technical aspect of that, but I think on the front end of that, from my perspective, there is no prioritization. I think within the site, I think it's simply based on needs and the ability to supply.
Correct. From the site's perspective, the design and intention is to easily let people search and and self-service or self-select, both where perhaps they want to prioritize their supplies, or for businesses to be proactive and go out and find manufacturers or businesses that have supplies that they can use.
Yeah, and I guess I would just add too that the date when you are able to select on when you need that, I think there's probably some additional filtering that helps you see at least the supplier indicate whether or not they can be ready to deliver on that. We've got another question here from Tim. One of the speakers mentioned this as a tool going forward. How will this remain useful post-pandemic? I'm happy to answer that and let Mark echo on there. I know from the Alliance's standpoint, from the Charlotte region, we all know that supply chains generally have been disrupted. So we actually see this as a platform to pilot or test, for example, continued need of basic products and services. We are experimenting with this, and we're also developing what we would call our global local supply chain strategy. So if this works well, which we hope it does, we'll be returning to our partners at Skookum to talk about how we can elaborate on this tool. Mark, would you add anything to that from Greater Winston-Salem Inc's perspective?
Yeah, I think you covered it perfectly. You know, it is an experiment. We're adapting. I think in times of crisis, innovation can come out of that. And this is one of those things that has been an innovative solution to try to solve a problem now, but it may be able to solve problems in the future for us as well. So with this great technology that Joe and Skookum put together, I think there's other opportunities to utilize it, and we'll see what those become. But most importantly, it's connecting our business community, and it's expanding us instead of little pockets across our entire 2-state region. And I think that's the most important part, and hopefully those connections can be lasting.
Awesome. Okay, we've got one more question in here. How many manufacturers and businesses have signed on so far? Joe, I don't know if you got the real-time intel on that. I will say, since we are launching this officially today, we hope to grow whatever number is in there now tenfold. So,
Yes, it's more than 20 already on the manufacturer side, and around 10 or so on the healthcare business side.
So Danielle, I'll just turn that one back on you, and if you can help us to promote and encourage this thing, I think we're going to grow the numbers that are currently registered in our database. All right, do we have any more questions? Okay, can you remind everyone how to access the site? Yes, and my colleague Laura Ford did put the link in there. It's carolinasalliance.org is the website. Please be sure to check it out. We are super excited about that. And we'll spend one more minute here to wait and see if there's any more questions from the group. Otherwise, I think we're going to wish everyone a great day. Okay, I think that's it, everybody. So thanks so much again for joining us. We've got one more question. Can you all provide some copy for surrounding counties to push it out for our business community? Absolutely. We will make sure that we do that. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Please stay safe. Please go and check the website out, carolinasalliance.org. And thank you, Skookum. Thank you, Greater Winston-Salem Inc. Thank you, Nutramax. And thank you, 704 Shop. Wish everybody well. Thank you.